Hello, so my name is Amanda, and today we're going to be discussing how Procreate is helpful in art education for both students and teachers. This is a piece of artwork I made inspired by Salvatore Dali, which I think would also be a good art lesson for students to do as well. So this could serve as a model for students for inspiration, to show how you can take a piece of artwork and change it to be your own while still going to the references. And what's very fun about this app is it does time-lapse recordings of every step you do. So every time you make a drawing, it makes a video of every step you've done. And this is helpful for students because they'll be able to look at their process, see how they're improving, and it's also fun. Like, this is a fun video they could share and get another project out of. It's entertaining to watch all the steps, and it's also good for the teacher because the teacher can figure out how the student is doing the process and help the students and scaffold with them to assist them in each step so they can learn how to do this on their own. So in this, I'm creating a foreground, a background, and a focal point, which would be here, which should all be useful for students as well. This is Salvatore Dali's persistence of memory inspiration. I can do Roman numeral symbols. So that's an example of a good art lesson. I also find it useful for making examples for students. I made this on Procreate, which is a visual glossary for E&L students for a lesson where they were drawing fruit, and this has visuals that I drew for each one, so it can activate the students' prior knowledge of the fruit they know while introducing them to this new vocabulary. And I also color-coded it to make it easier for them to remember, so it stays in their long-term memory. And then going off that, this was also for an E&L class where I taught a lesson about the color wheel, but I also, instead of having them just fully color the color wheel like this, I made it a 1-point perspective cityscape they did. And they did this with paper and pencils and color pencils. But I used these digitals to give them a step-by-step process of how they would do it. So they would start by drawing all the six lines to make 12 spaces for the colors, write down the colors, and then put the tops of the buildings, and then fill in the windows and color it. And they were all able to follow it well with these scaffolding techniques to provide assistance and make it easy to follow with the visuals. Yeah, so Procreate would be a way of augmentation in going off of the SAMR model, because the technology acts as a direct substitute for drawing and painting that you could do traditionally, but it also adds another element where you can have both in one. This could be both a drawing or painting depending how you use it. There's tools on here. You can play with different brushes. It won't make as much of a mess, and it could act as a digital portfolio. And it's teaching the students digital art. It's a great introductory for that, which is more needed for jobs these days. Yeah, I just find Procreate very useful. I started doing digital art myself 2 years ago, and I started with this app before, and it's a good, it's user friendly. It's and there's a lot of information on it to learn more. It's for iPads, and this is a $10 charge. You can do a lot with your fingers, just like drawing on it, but you can also get an Apple Pencil if for the students where they're very intrinsically motivated by this and they really enjoy and want to learn